So I've just been watching the Romania game, and they're currently playing the Netherlands, right? They're currently winning 1-0, and it was Cody Gakpo that got the goal. And it really got me thinking, why is Cody Gakpo so much better in a Dutch shirt than he is in a Liverpool one? And then that spiralled into, he's not the only forward that's significantly better for his national side than for Liverpool. Darwin Nunez is the epitome of that. What's he got? 9 goals in 6 games? It might be slightly more now since the start of the Copa America. I've not been keeping too much track. But I think that really poses an interesting sort of dilemma and debate, and something that hopefully Arne Slot can try and fix and replicate for the club. Why are they so much better for their national sides? Is it down to the quality of the opposition? Is it down to the pressure of the shirt, maybe? I mean, I can't personally believe that there's any higher pressure than your national shirt, right? Especially when you're a big nation in the respective areas like Uruguay are in South America and like Netherlands are in Europe. They're one of the biggest countries that they both are. So what is it that causes this difference? Is it down to system play? And again, you've got to think that with Schlott coming in, there's going to be a different system imposed anyway. He's renowned for playing a 4-2-3-1 with the double pivot CDMs, which personally I would like to see happen again because A, it's a system that he's comfortable with and performs well with, and B, it would be quite a nice change as a fan just to witness like 4-2-3-1 as opposed to Klopp's amazing and timeless 4-3-3. So I think let's just break it down. We'll go through each player and see why there's specifics behind the reason they're performing differently at both club level and country level. So starting off with the goal scorer today, Cody Gakpo, obviously part of this Dutch setup, has been for a while, and his position has changed throughout his course of time there. I think it was it the 2018 World Cup, or it might have been the 2021 Euros, actually, one of the two tournaments. 2021 Euros? Yeah, you know what I mean, the COVID-y one. He started as a centre-forward for Holland, right? And again, did really well, sort of what made him break out a bit more onto the scene and then ultimately ended up at Liverpool, right? But currently, this Euros, obviously Holland are playing their famous formation, which Liverpool share, that 4-3-3, with, again, that little number 6 in there, your 2 midfielders, left wing, right wing striker. So I think the biggest variance for Gakpo is that when it comes to the national team, he always plays the position he is made for. He plays left wing, which is something he doesn't often get to do at Liverpool. Since he sort of started at Liverpool, I feel like Klopp has almost deployed him as like Firmino 2.0, in the sense of like he would play as that centre forward, like sort of drop back, try and link up the play, which again he's not terrible at. That's something he can do, but that doesn't sort of facilitate his best assets and the position he likes to play, clearly. I understand it's more difficult when you're in a Liverpool shirt because you've got to think of the rest of that squad there, right? You've got Diaz off the left, Nunez can play off the left, Jota can play on the left. All of them can sort of fill that void. But Gakpo, it feels as if doesn't really get the same opportunities out there than the likes of a Diaz and even a Jota, but I personally feel Jota just plays out there because Klopp really wanted to get him in the team. So why can't he replicate that same form? I mean, we'll go through who he's played so far in this tournament at the very least. I mean, he's just scored against Romania, right? Romania are certainly not the best team in the world, but there's reasonable opposition in there. I guess when you compare it to your average Premier League team, it's probably a little bit below, right? And you've got Poland. I would argue a similar level. I mean, clearly not as good this tournament. They went straight out in the group stage. But, again, not the worst opposition. Sort of a lower league, sort of Premier League team, I suppose. But then he's also played there against France. And again, finished 0-0, I believe, the game? Which was kind of bullshit. There was definitely a goal which shouldn't have been disallowed by, I think, Xavi Simons. But he looked way more comfortable in that game for Holland. I can't understand what it is. It's I think it's just one of those where you've got to look to Arne Slot and think, can you get the best out of him? You've got that Dutch link there. There's clearly a player in there, and it's almost an element of frustration in the sense of like, again, maybe it's dependent upon the fan, but I am a big fan of Gakpo. And it's frustrating knowing that he is a good player and he can perform well. I mean, he's just a second, I've got it out the corner of my eye. He's just scored again for the Netherlands. I think it's going to be ruled out for offside. But there's the talent there. There's a poacher's instinct there. And he is good on the left. He's got skill. He's got pace. Maybe not quite the pace of, say, a Diaz or a Salah or an Anthony Gordon. Never know if that comes through. But there is clearly elements of his game which benefit playing out on that left-hand side. So I think moving forward, if we do switch to this 4-2-3-1 and there's a little bit more of an opportunity out on that left-hand side because you have the extra attacker, again, we don't know how Slot's going to line up. We'll have to figure that out when season sort of starts and all the players are back from the international competitions. But I really do feel like this needs to be Gakpo's opportunity to play in his actual preferred position and get a decent run out there, as opposed to being rotated with, say, a Diaz or having to fill in at that centre-forward spot because the other striker, who we're about to go into, isn't firing. So moving on to our lovely Darwin Nunez, I do think that this is a little bit of an easier one to try and understand. So we all know Nunez. He loves chances, he loves missing chances, but he does get into great positions. And I think that the main answer behind why he's better for Uruguay than what he is for Liverpool is the golfing opposition. The South American sort of tournaments, generally speaking, other than the top teams, the general standard of football tends to be lower. And that is why you'll have a Nunez, he'll play against teams like Panama and end up bagging a goal, bagging a brace, whatever. He still spurns so many chances. I think he had an interview the other day where he was like, "Oh, I'll take 10 chances and miss them, but I'll get the 11th." Realistically, that's not brilliant from a centre forward. You kind of want him to get the first one or the second one. But be that as it may, he gets way more opportunities in that Uruguay setup. And again, it's not like he's got a lack of attacking talent next to him. Obviously, Suarez aging, but has got the ability there to do wonders for him. They've got a solid enough midfield across them, and they're easily one of the best South American teams out there. So I think it does just purely come down to Nunez's lack of ability as to why he is worse in a Liverpool shirt. From a personal perspective, I kind of feel like it's done. I hope he proved me wrong massively and he can become the great striker, which I think there's the potential there to be, but I don't think it's going to work. I just don't. I don't think he's quite got it there in him to, not just to be that 20-goal-a-season striker in the Premier League and across the Champions League and all that. What I do find very interesting about the Uruguay setup itself, though, is that it does replicate the 4-2-3-1 that Arne Slot plays, right? So again, if you're going to have Nunez playing in this system at club level where he's getting more chances and scoring more goals, there is potential for him to be better. That is where Nunez thrives, I feel, if you get him on the last shoulder of the defender, because he's absolutely fucking rapid, right? So if you can play the same system that he's scoring an abundance of goals for, you've got to hope that he can just keep picking up the positions and hopefully have a better season than what he has had under Klopp. I feel like, and again, I will never go against that man till the day I die, but I feel like when it came towards the end with Klopp just gave up with him, personally, and I can completely understand why and justify as to why, but it was as if Klopp knew he was coming to the end. He was like, oh, why do I need to bother trying to get the best out of Nunez now? Whack him on the bench, leave it. He didn't deserve to be in the team, he wasn't playing very well. But you got to think, new manager, new bloke to impress, new system. He could be a new player. He could become the player that he is for Uruguay, and I really hope that the fans do back him. I know I've just slated him for the last 3 minutes and saying how I don't think he's good enough and how I genuinely think he probably shouldn't be at the club now as the out-and-out number 9 for Liverpool. But all we can do is back him. He's so clearly a confidence player that if he can get it right, he could be 20, 25 goals a season striker. But that's all I've got for this one. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think Gakpo and Nunez can carry this form into the season? Obviously hoping that they can do. But yeah. Thanks all for watching.